And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, today we're taking a look at a small card game called Portal of Heroes. Now, Portal of Heroes is a game in which the theme is portals have opened up and all sorts of fairy tales are mixing together, different sorts of fantasy creatures, and it's your job to shut the portals down and use different pearls. I'm not actually quite sure what the theme of the game is, but it's a card game. And in this card game, you're trying to get a certain number of points by collecting sets of numbers and then using those numbers to get characters who give you points and or special powers, which lets you get more pearls, which will get you more points and or special powers, until finally someone wins. That's the 10-second explanation. Here's the full one. Each player has a portal that they're going to put in front of them. These portals are folded pieces of paper, but they have, like a picture of a portal on. And basically there's spots for 2 cards that you can place in front of them. There are 2 decks of cards that are out here. We have 1 deck of pearl cards, and there are 7 of each number in this deck from 1 to 8, and you can see the different colors and things on the pearls. They have some pretty cool artworks. You see the different pearls. And then you have another deck of character cards, and these character cards come from all different things. I'm pretty sure that's Peter Pan. I think that's a winged monkey. There's the Mad Hatter. But I mean, we got all sorts of people. There's Tweedledum Tweedledee, but Medusa shows up. I think, is that Aslan? There's the Grim Reaper. There's all sorts of Captain Hook, Puss in Boots, and a dwarf, an orc. I think Conan's in here somewhere. So there's all sorts of different characters. There's Conan. Conan and Alice in Wonderland. You never thought you'd see that. Well, anyway, on a player's turn, they have 3 actions. You can do the same action twice or multiple times. And one of the actions can be taking a pearl card. So you can take a pearl card. When you take a pearl card, it's going to be replaced. Or for an action, you can wipe all 4 pearl cards. Perhaps you don't like any of the numbers that are out there and you want some other numbers to draw from. So you're going to be collecting these numbers. If a card ever comes out that shows this symbol on it, like this 4 does here, that means the character cards are removed and we'll put out 2 new character cards. Another thing you can do is you can take a character card and just put it into your portal. Players have room for 2 character cards in front of them, and once a character card's in front of you, you can activate that character card. To activate a character card, you're going to need the numbers it shows. So here you need to play 4 1s, 4 pearl 1s. This one you simply need to pay 2 that are the same. This one here, 2 6s and 2 8s. This one here, 2 different pairs. And there's all different sorts of things. Here we have 3 cards that are different. Here are 3 cards that equal 10. A 5, 6, 7. This is a straight. You can play a 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or whatever. A 3, 5, 7. And so there's different cards that you will, different combinations. And when you play a combination, the card is going to become worth a certain number of points. So this one's here worth 1 point, while this one here, a harder combination, is going to be worth 3 points. Sometimes they give you a special ability. Like, for example, if I complete this golem here, he's worth 2 points, and he gives me 3 more actions that I can take immediately. Others give you sort of a long-term special ability. So, for example, here, this one is going to basically give me a wild all the time. So 4 1s gives me no points, but for now, the rest of the game, I have a wild number that I can play. So some cards, like this giant, have no special abilities that they can have. Others with the red background have a one-time special ability, and others with the blue background, like this one here, lets me change a 2 to a diamond. Now, what are diamonds? Every once in a while, a card will give you diamonds. You will simply draw diamonds and put them in front of you, and you can spend diamonds to add or subtract 1 from your number cards to help you fulfill the different numbers that you need. Here, this guy here gives you a 2. You always have a 2 to use. And so players are just going to go around a table doing this, taking actions. They're only allowed to have 5 pearl cards between actions. And whenever someone has 12 points, that triggers the end of the game. Everyone gets 1 last final turn, and whoever has the most points wins, with ties being broken by how many diamonds you have. That's the game. First of all, the artwork in this game is phenomenal. I really like it. The character artwork is fine, but the Pearl artwork is just gorgeous. The portals, they look really good. The card quality is good. The whole thing just, I like the look of it. This is a card game you bring out and people will stop by and go, what is this? And of course, the theming of the different Tweedledum and Tweedledee and Conan, that sort of thing is funny, although the theming kind of disappears out the window because it's all about collecting stuff. But it's not a bad thing, okay? People like set collection games where you try to collect different groups of numbers and things, and in this case, numbers, and that's a simple thing to do, right? You're sitting there going, and you don't have to worry about someone else stealing it away from you because you can take the character and say, okay, now I got a 4, 5, 6. I'm trying to get a 4, 5, 6 so I can finish this character, or a pair, and of course, the ones that are easier give fewer points and special abilities. But at the beginning of the game, you might try to get somebody and try to get a special ability, oh, now I always have a 2. Okay, well now I can use this 2 to get other characters. And so the game kind of progresses along that way as you get more and more of these special abilities. You can do more and cooler things. Of course, most of the time the special abilities do not come with victory points, so you have to kind of determine when you're going to start getting victory points. And some of them seem pretty hard. To get 4 8s is pretty difficult, but that guy's worth a lot of points. So maybe I have a thing that lets me change my 1s to 8s. Now, players are not interacting with each other too much, except the player before you can say, oh, well, he's collecting 8s. I see the character he wants. I'll take the numbers they need. But, of course, by taking the numbers that that person needs, you're kind of, not helping yourself out very much either. So you have to decide the right thing to do. I like it. It's not a complicated game. It's not really even that strategic a game. It's pretty tactical. You just take the cards that best suit you. You have 3 actions. How do you use them? You're sitting there going, I need number 4. So I think my first action, I'll wipe the numbers and then hope a 4 shows up on the second one. Yes, it did. That's my second action. Third action, play the 4s, put the character into play. The game's a smidgen longer than I think it should be. 12 points seems like it's easy to get to. And when I say that, it's only when you're playing with the full complement of 4 or 5 players. With 2 or 3, the game goes by much faster. But I like it. It's simple, it's light, it's the kind of game you can sit around and talk to people. You have a certain number of actions on your turn, but the things aren't complicated. Draw some cards, play those cards. The only complication is you will probably, for the first several games, be constantly looking at this section of the rules to remember what all the different symbols do. But I found that I just explained them as they come out, and players are pretty good with that. The pearls themselves are just 1 through 8, so you don't need to worry about what they do. So a simple filler-style game, and I have to say I was pretty surprised by it. Not only is it beautiful, it's a fun little game. That's Portal of Heroes. Dice Tower Judgment approved.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.
Shut the door!